Hello everyone, my name is Jenny B. Welcome to my channel for all of my new subscribers. I'm so grateful for all of you who subscribed and who like and share my videos. And I really enjoy reading your comments and responding and getting your emails. All of the information in order to contact me is in the description box below. I wanted to make sure to announce that on the 11th of December at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, we will be having the second meeting of the Congregation of the Emerald Fire. And in the work that we're going to do for the second meeting will involve Mary Magdalene teaching us how to rotate the heart chakra in order to manifest the emerald green fire. Okay, that's those were the teachings from very ancient times. And so we're going to do that with Mary Magdalene. And then we'll be doing whatever other healing work, whatever we're directed to do. I thought it was amazing that we had on 11/11, we sent a wave of light and love and pure love, the creator's version of the energy of creation through the earth. And then I saw this morning when I woke up that it was actually at about 3 o'clock in the morning in Chicago time. We did our work at about 8 hours later, but there was a wave that went, a seismic occurrence is what Metatron is saying, that rippled throughout the earth. It started on a small island off the coast of France. They don't have any explanation for why this came about, but I believe that that's why we sent that wave of unconditional love. We are like helping the earth to adjust to all of the new changes coming about. I mentioned in a video previously about the changes that I saw coming to the western coast of the United States. I want to make sure that everyone understands that these are changes that will play out over, he's saying, the next century or so. In other words, it could even be longer, okay? And what's going to happen is that as the region becomes destabilized, people will move away, okay? So this isn't going to be one time and then it's all changed, the western coast. It's going to happen over a prolonged period of time. And he is speaking to me now about, the process of creation and the earth and how that works. And we all know how that works. So when you're listening to people who are, saying this, giving dates, like a lot of people that talked about, and I don't watch them, so I don't know who it was. I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but when we're talking about, if someone's giving you a date and a time, there can be a general idea, but those aren't given to us. It's like the Bible says, like the King James Council, when they wrote down, no man knows the day nor the hour. That's true of all of the events, like the significant events, okay? And so I don't want to panic anybody about saying what I saw about the West Coast, because chances are it may not even be in our lifetimes that there are, that what I saw comes to fruition, but there will be significant events related to that. Not saying that has anything to do with December's astrology, but people had asked me, and so I wanted to pass that along to you, okay? If there's ever anything to say about that, then I'm sure Metatron will let me know, and then I'll bring that message to you guys. I also wanted to address, before we get into December, a lot of people have been asking me questions about Metatron. I've had it come up in client sessions, just misunderstandings. There's a lot of false truth out there related to Archangel Metatron. When I met and started working with and had my first attunement with Archangel Metatron, I was 7 years old, okay? And I met him as the energy of the Holy Spirit. Metatron does appear in a way that we are familiar, like how we imagine, angels looking. And I'm sure a lot of you see him. I see him pretty much in the way that, and now I don't, Jane Delaford Taylor, the painting that she has of him, it's very, very close to what I started seeing when I was a baby. But he is, if you're looking like in the higher, we're talking about like the cosmic understanding and the way that it really is, and leaving out human perception. Metatron is a field of energy. Okay, he's sort of like the membrane that ties everything together. That's why he's sort of like the string is what he's showing me that ties everything together. His energy runs through everything, just like the energy of creation does. He's the rainbow bridge because he encompasses all the colors of the rainbow, although he identifies more closely with the flame, the ray of the flame, or the orange ray. That's why in the New Testament, when the early church had started, they talked about Pentecost and how the fire came down of the Holy Spirit and blessed them with their gift of light language, what we call light language. What they refer to in the Bible is the gift of tongues. But he is all the spectrum of the rainbow, all of the colors, the rays of all of the colors. And the other angels come to us through him. They're the ray, okay? So like Archangel Michael is one shade of the ray of blue, and Mary, and they don't always look the same exact colors, just depending on what energy is needed in that situation that they're coming into to bring us help. So I hope that's a better explanation of Metatron. Some people had thought that, he could be dualistic, like he has like a side that's negative. Metatron is incapable of having, negativity or bringing anything dark, let's say, okay? He's a pure energy of light and unconditional love. When you go into the energy of creation, that white light, you see pearly iridescent rainbow colors that run through the light. That's his energy, okay? So I'm going to begin teaching classes in February related to this and to other ways, of like teaching people how to access the divine self and how using Metatron as a gateway in order to do that. The classes, I'll talk more about it next month, but he wanted me to mention on this video that that's coming up in December. We have so much going on between now and February. We have huge eclipses coming in January. We have so much going on in the month of December. And since the full moon that we had in Gemini a couple of weeks ago was at 0 degrees of a sign, okay? And so will the next 4 that follow, so the one that will happen this month. And what he was showing me in relation to that was timelines running parallel. And I think that a lot of you understand that, we don't just exist here and now. We exist in other timelines and other places. Time is happening all at once. Time is not linear. So what he was showing me was these lines, timelines that are all different colors, and they're running parallel. And then at certain points they sync up, okay? Okay, I know, in the human thinking, it's not so easy to comprehend, but that's why that is happening right now, because we're going through so many shifts and changes. We've got coming up very shortly in December, Chiron, Mercury, the nodes of fate, Venus, and Uranus, all locked into challenging aspects with one another, which I'll get into more as the month goes on, and I'll talk about it more in detail later in this video. But basically what's happening right now is that there are shifts and changes coming, and this is happening because of people's free will choices. There are a lot of people during the Venus retrograde who backed out of contracts with soulmates. A lot of that was happening. A lot of people decided that maybe they're not going to go deeper than they are. Maybe they'd like a respite and to take a breather. And so there are a lot of us that are, carrying I'm not going to say carrying because then it sounds like a burden, but we're holding space for those people and making up the difference kind of thing. And so that's all being orchestrated where, you know, like if there is somebody who's bowed out of an agreement with you, but your soul is going to, you know, has decided that this is what it's going to accomplish in this lifetime, then somebody will be brought in. Okay. He just said ferreted in, but somebody will come in from, it'll all work out. Okay. The timelines are that as the timelines are syncing up, the partner that you need will be there. So for any of you who are on the twin flame journey, this has a lot to do with the twin flames. Okay. A lot to do with the twin flames. What I was told by Metatron before 2018 started was that this was not an energy, the entire year was not an energy conducive to souls coming together in union and staying in union, okay? Because this energy was more about letting go and letting things, relationships that maybe wouldn't have served, go to the side, and then another relationship coming to the fore, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that if you did end up with someone in 2018, I'm not saying, you know, that he said no relationship that started in 2018 will have any endurance, but you know, just so you know that that's what was told to me before the year started. And so we've seen a lot of that play out, still playing out for a lot of people with secrets that have come out. Just recently, I'm still getting messages from people about that in relation to what I spoke about in that full moon in Gemini video. And we're still in that energy. Okay. That's still happening. It's still a possibility that information will surface that, you know, brings a lot of change and can feel like it's maybe wreaking havoc. So, you know, we want to just make sure that we're centered within ourselves, okay, that we know that we're safe, because when all of these shifts are happening with timelines and your people are gone and then new people coming in, we're in flux is what he's saying. We're in flux. We're not sure, like he's showing me that the sands beneath our feet are shifting is what it feels like to all of us. And with that, I'm going to bring up how at the day that Mars entered Pisces, that's when the reports started coming out about the South Pole now, okay? Antarctica having like the base of it, at the ocean floor melting, okay? And then the next day another report came out because Mars in Pisces relates to the oceans, right? And the ocean floor, they were talking about that the sediment even is changing and shifting. And what's happening is the tectonic plates are sucking up a lot of the water from the oceans in order to move, okay? So, you know, we're still looking at Mars is in Pisces. I know, you know, we've been talking about all year at the moons. There were always, there were showings of water events and storms. Okay. That was something that pretty much they all had in common, one or the other. A lot of times they had both in common. So right now I know we have fires in Australia. They're also suffering severe storms there. I know I saw something about New Zealand as well. And, you know, just we're still in that energy, and that's going to keep going. And the precursor to 2019, December, is a whopper. So I'm sure that some of you have noticed. So I'm making this on the 29th of November. And what's happening right now is that we're feeling Mars move up to Neptune in Pisces. That's why there are a lot of people who are very emotional right now. This is an emotional energy, okay? And this is when we're talking about Mars, we're talking about the self. And so we can be feeling, there could be issues of abandonment coming up for people, issues of separation, people maybe feeling like they're trapped in some kind of contract with someone that they're unable to get out of, because Uranus is in Aries right now, answering to Mars, and Uranus wants to break free, break free, break free. So it's still got a lot of that masculine energy that wants their freedom, and doesn't want to be tied down and doesn't want to, you know, feel like they're being told what to do. But anyway, this Mars in Pisces, and then that new moon, that full moon in Gemini, when we talked about the truth coming out and, you know, the information that would we could count on it being truth because of Michael being where he was during that full moon. And the climate change report came out that day. So it's in the United States, we call that a news dump day, because Black Friday, they know, the people releasing that report, they know that people aren't paying attention to the news that day. People are shopping and eating leftovers. I'm eating leftovers. I'm not shopping on Black Friday. I stay at home. I'm very happy to be at home for that day. But yeah, it came out and it was bleak. It was extremely bleak. It talked about mass loss of life, mass loss of money. And like I spoke about in the End of Corruption video, the money that we're giving toward the military, which by the way, we just we're not paying them back benefits through the GIs aren't getting refunded money that they were shorted. So we aren't supporting the soldiers, okay? We're supporting the weapons manufacturers with 42% of our GDP going to them. And that's money is going to be now it needs to be moved elsewhere. It needs to be moved toward helping these people who are going through the climate change events as they come up. Okay, so that's what's happening. That's the way, you know, they've tried to get our attention, as I said, but now the money will be steered toward infrastructure and rebuilding the country instead of supplying weapons for the world. It's like we're supplying weapons to one guy so that they can have, you know, they can spy on this person and go to war with this person. And then that person's spending, you know, buying weapons from us to fight back against that person. It's like, that's all we do. We're just weapons dealers. And I think it's great that our Congress made a stand against Saudi Arabia for what's happening in Yemen right now. Yay, because the pictures of what's happening in Yemen right now, I can hardly stand it. I know a lot of you talked about when we went into Yemen during the meditation that was really difficult for you to do. So that lets me know that there could be some, you know, where we have to, in order to feel sympathy and compassion, we have to take that energy into ourselves. That's an old shamanic teaching, and that's what we learned when we practiced as shaman, because we did take disease and negativity into us actually to transmute that energy. So that's a simple, you know, fix that we're going to do before we do any more work with the Sisterhood of the Emerald Fire to make sure that everyone is protected. Obviously, when you're working with the higher vibrations of the Marys and Metatron and the galactic fleet is what he's saying, you're protected. But if it's something, you know, in some a facet of you or an aspect of you that you're unconscious of, then that can happen. So we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. But anyway, it's exciting to be part of that work going on, and I love being here to do it with them. So yeah, just December 11th at 8 Central Standard Time. The link to the Zoom meeting is in the description box below, and there won't be quite as many technical difficulties because we've had the practice run now. So that should be better too. So December 1st, Venus in Libra is coming into Scorpio, and she's going to oppose Uranus once again. Okay, so this is the third time that this has happened. And earlier this year Uranus was squaring Mars, so there was a lot of loss with relationship, and I don't know, and other things being brought in, you know, surprises being brought in. Now they're in an opposition. Venus is at the end of Libra, the 29th degree. If I'm looking at a natal chart and somebody has Uranus opposing, which, you know, wouldn't happen because, anyway, that's a long story. But if there is that kind of opposition at 29 degrees of Libra, that says to me right there that whatever's out of balance is gone, okay? So that's what's happening with that, which is freedom, which is great. That's what Uranus is about, is setting us free. The next day, December 2nd, Mercury will retrograde back into Scorpio on the 2nd, and Venus will enter Scorpio. So we're back to Scorpio energy for a while. And, you know, Jupiter just finished up his 1-year transit there. While Venus was in the sign, Jupiter was still in Scorpio, and then Venus moved backward. Venus is now coming through Scorpio and cleaning up what still needs to be cleaned up that Jupiter didn't have a chance to get to. Okay, so that's, again, we're talking about intense energies. We've got Chiron at the end of Pisces, okay, which is the higher energies of Pisces are dissolving into all that is, realizing, really realizing all aspects of you, realizing that you are supported by all that is through the energy of unconditional love, that you are an integral part of all that is, that you are an energy, your purest essence, your soul self is the energy of unconditional love, and realizing that we're all the same, we're all connected, we're all the soul of the creator having our individual soul experiences, okay? We're sparks of that light, we're pieces of that light of the creator. And the lower energies of Pisces are untold sorrow, grief, suffering, prison, okay? So, and then also not being able to see the bigger picture. So with this Chiron, Mercury, the nodes of fate, Venus and Uranus, all locked in, okay? The nodes of fate, our collective destiny. These are all Venus, the divine feminine, Uranus bringing swift change, and then Mercury, how do we put this into practice? Or what is our thinking? What are we telling ourselves about all of this shifting and changing? And we can feel it, okay? So there's a lot of things going on beyond the veil right now that we're not all privy to, and it's just a lot of changing and adjusting, and things happening spur of the moment, surprise energy. And so we can feel insecure in that, like he said, like the sand shifting beneath our feet. So I've been just concentrating on centering myself in my heart space, feeling the support of all that is coming through your back, okay? So that you really feel that you're supported. That's a way to reach the aspect of the creator, or the aspect of your soul. Our higher selves are still in duality, very much. There's still duality with the higher self. So, you know, on the planet, we're the most powerful aspect of ourselves, because we're the ones who are actually implementing the unconditional love of the creator on the planet. We're the ones who are bringing dreams into fruition on the planet, okay? So you don't answer really to anyone outside yourself other than the creator, okay? It's about all aspects of us coming into alignment with our divine self, the divine one, okay? And so, yeah, I always just ask that I'm guided by highest truth and unconditional love, because there's aspects of myself, just like there's aspects of you that are not completely in alignment. Shocking, right? There's still egoism and egotism with the higher self too. So, you know, our goal is to reach the divine aspect of ourselves, okay? To come into that energy, to realize that we're one with that energy, and then to bring that energy into the planet, okay? So that's what's happening right now with this shifting and changing. And like I said, this Uranus with the nodes of fate conversation that's going to be happening every time a planet exits a sign to enter a new sign. It's going to come into that same energy, just as the planets that I mentioned are doing now, Mercury, Venus, Chiron, because they're at the ends of signs, or moving in the ends of signs. So, you know, that's going to that story isn't finished, and that's going to go on for quite a while, all through next year, okay? So really making a practice of, you know, centering yourself, feeling safe, telling yourself that you love yourself, that you're safe, asking for protection, asking for guidance from energies of highest truth and unconditional love. Okay, that's the best way to deal with all of what's happening right now, because we're feeling insecure, is what he's saying. And so we want to just, you know, especially with the inner child, if you're having a day where you're feeling really insecure, go into meditation, see yourself, picking yourself up as a baby in the crib, holding yourself as a baby. Those of you who've had rough relationships with your mother, this is always, and your father, he's saying, this is always a good thing to do to rebuild that sense of security and self-worth, is what he's saying, that's a great way to practice self-care, okay? Then on December 3rd, the sun in Sagittarius, which is about hopes and dreams and I could accomplish anything. It's going to challenge Mars in Pisces, okay? So Mars is also the self, the Aries, the self. And so when it's being challenged like that, we're getting like, what's keeping you? What truth are we missing in order to go forward? or what aren't we getting? Okay, what's keeping us from the divine inspiration? This can also be divine inspiration coming in, because then 2 days later the sun is going to square Neptune. Now, because Neptune just started moving forward again in Pisces, and the sun in Sagittarius truth is squaring Neptune, I would think that this will be a day on the 5th of December that if there have been things that you are, it could even start when that Mars squares the sun as well on the 3rd. So this could be when we're finding out truth about something, another big truth coming out, because Pisces is also like the public. So it could be something to do with all of us like that. Or just specific for you. If you have points and planets at the ends of the cardinal signs, then, you know, this year has been quite something for you. Or if you've just got a lot of, what am I trying to say? Cardinal energy. So cardinal energy is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. If you have a lot of that energy in your chart, then this year has been, you know, quite a challenge for you, maybe getting things off the ground. And then so the 6th then, Mercury moves direct. And this is what I was going to say about the new moon, because the new moon comes right after Mercury moves direct. And if you don't have planets in those signs and you've just been having a hard time getting things off the ground, this new moon sets you up for coming into a time when you're able to decide where you're going to point your arrow. Pick a destination is what he's saying. Choose a destiny is what he's saying, and decide where you're going to point that arrow. Okay. As Metatron tells me, like, he's like, we're each driving the sailboat. Okay. We're steering the sailboat. We're deciding where we want to go. Okay. We're not waiting for somebody else to tell us that that's what we're doing. And he's the wind in the sails. Okay. That the divine is what guides us to that point, that destiny. Okay. The destination that we decide that we're going to go into. And that's a lot of the energy of this new moon. So the new moon happens on the 7th, unless you're in California or the West Coast. It's at 1:20 a.m. Chicago time on the 7th. So in England or London, that's 7:20 p.m. 7:20 a.m. in London on the 7th. That's happening at 15 degrees of Sagittarius. And the Sabian symbol for 15 degrees of Sagittarius is a groundhog looking for his shadow. So if you look at this chart, you'll see, I got to take off my glasses now. Okay. So you're looking at, this is Jupiter. Okay. Jupiter is right there, the one that looks like the funny number 4. He's in the 12th house, and this is universal time. I always run these for London because it's universal time, and so it kind of talks to everybody. Obviously, in your own chart, this will hit different places and do, you know, have different effects in everyone's chart. But when Jupiter is in the 12th house, when you're having a 12th house Jupiter transit, there are things going on that are very beneficial for you, but you don't see them. You don't recognize that they're happening. They're happening beyond the veil, behind the scenes, even just that they're not in your conscious mind, okay? So it could be that somebody is saying really nice things about you. It's a lot of different ways that it can be beneficial, but it's something that's hidden for now, okay? You'll see how the moon and the sun are right with Saint Michael. Doesn't say Michael because it's just the first 5 letters of the asteroid, but that is the asteroid Saint Michael. That circle with the cross in the middle is the part of fortune, bringing emphasis to that Jupiter. I need a sip of water. Jupiter is the most benefic planet that we have there. Okay, that's what the ancients saw it as. It's about bringing opportunities and blessings and gifts and, you know, going into higher consciousness. And the new moon is being ruled by Jupiter. Okay, and Jupiter is only 9 degrees from this energy as well. So with the sun and the moon, we give like 10 degrees. So it's in there. It's considered conjunct because it's the sun and the moon, and it's only 9 degrees away. So even though he's in a different chart, or sorry, house in this chart, he's still the guy in charge of this new moon. And so when we're talking about the groundhog looking for his shadow, like, where am I going with this? This is about trust. Okay, trusting the divine, trusting the creator to bring you whatever you need and whatever opportunities are necessary, whatever partners are necessary, whatever is necessary for you to accomplish the work that you've chosen to do, or whatever new start it is that you've decided to make. This is super energy for that happening. Now, the moon and the sun, excuse me, are in what's called a square, so that 90-degree angle to that Mars-Neptune energy. And Mars is actually with Neptune, okay, at this full moon. So Neptune is about, you know, we're infinite, okay? We're not just here and then, you know, we have the one lifetime and then we die, we go back for 60 years and then we come back, or we go for 200 years and we come back. We're always going. Okay, we're always incarnating somewhere, and it's not like we take a long break. Okay, we may not be here, but we always exist somewhere. Okay, and so when Mars and Neptune are together like this, it's about the self, recognizing that the self is infinite and eternal. Okay, and expansive is what he's saying. Don't shoot low. Don't shoot for that little dream. Shoot for the big. Shoot for the stars is what he's saying. You know, shoot for the whole thing. Shoot for the big, whatever it is, you know, put in your requests. Do your manifesting, okay? This is a great energy for that. So, after that new moon then pulls out, or the energy, I mean, we're still in the energy of the new moon, but as that energy begins to take hold and get settled within us, and we're manifesting, you know, the dreams and expecting blessings and help, okay? Realizing that we're worthy of that because we've got Venus back in Scorpio. And so after the 7th, then we've got about 5 days. I mean, this energy, like I said, it's a raucous kind of energy. And Metatron said, you know, I always ask, like, what would be the one thing to sum up the month? He said it's sink or swim. Okay, Mars, the self, in you know, with Neptune and in Pisces anyway, which is the oceans and the not the abyss, but the, like, all that is kind of thing. Okay, where we can't even conceive of the multiverses and all of that kind of thing. But it boggles the mind, is what he's saying. The potential that each of us have too is where, you know, he's really having me work with that, with clients a lot on that you could do whatever it is that you choose to do. Just name it. Just name it. And if it's in alignment with what your soul wants, and typically the things that we're passionate about are right in alignment with what our soul wants for us too, that can all manifest and come into fruition on this planet. Also, with all of these energies, you know, they're speaking a lot to integrity. And for those of us who are, and I know a lot of you are, spiritual teachers and healers, I know a lot of you do that, or you're about to, you know, come into that career. This is a time when you want to be in integrity, okay? So if you're, for instance, using someone else's teachings or repeating what you hear from others, passing it off as your own, this is the kind of thing where the energy where that's going to come back to get you, okay? So if you aren't crediting that person, then the credit will be, you'll be given the credit somewhere, somehow, okay? So it's like the energy that you could have given the person just in acknowledging, oh yes, and I heard this from so-and-so, it'll come out of you in some other way, okay? So we want to make sure that, because we've got Saturn in Capricorn, and that's, you know, leadership and honesty and integrity in leadership, and Jupiter in Sagittarius, the religious leader, the guru, the one who brings wisdom. When those are talking, and then you've got this Neptune happening in Pisces with Mars too, you just want to make sure that you're in integrity, okay? Really important right now, because there is so much nonsense going on out there, and so much, like, ooh, people getting carried away with all kinds of stuff. So yeah, and just be careful. Use your discernment with what you watch, what you put into your minds right now, okay? Because the energies are really intense with that, and it could stick. And so you want to make sure that, you know, you're using your discretion and discernment, whoever you listen to, including me, obviously. And then on the 12th, we've got Oh, shoot. I can't believe I did that. He said to me what to say about this, and I wrote it down, and I didn't write down what the aspect was. Shoot. On the 12th, it's about holding the vision. Okay, I know what it is. It's Mercury, and it's about holding the vision and taking practical steps to reach your destination, okay? So it's about focusing. He was talking about, yeah, focusing on what it is that we want and then taking the practical measures in order to bring things to fruition. That's on the 12th. And on the 16th, Venus in Scorpio will sextile Saturn in Capricorn, and she wants to know, is it worth it? Is this what you want to build worth it? Is it going to bring reward to you? Okay, there may be you may have to make an adjustment that day, and that's happening on the 16th, but you know how it goes. It can happen like a few days before, a few days after with aspects, but that'll be on the 16th. Is it worth it? Is the relationship worth it? Is somebody treating you the way that the creator sees you, that you're worthy, okay, of being unconditionally loved, or are there conditions? That kind of energy, because it's Venus. She's in a nice aspect with Saturn, but you know, Saturn's pretty serious, and he wants to make sure that the structure is safe and sound, is what Metatron is saying. Then on the 17th, Mars in Pisces will sextile Pluto in Capricorn. Okay, what needs to crumble in order for my vision, my mission to succeed? Okay, are there aspects of ego that maybe need to be done away with? Is there someone that's blocking what's happening and that needs to be done away with? So that's December 17th. Then on the 20th, so we're coming up to the solstice now, we've got the sun at the gate of the gods in Sagittarius. The galactic center is at the end of Sagittarius. The sun is going to be there, and he's going to be in what's called a trine to Uranus and Aries, because those are both fire signs. Okay, so that's a really harmonious, very easy flow of energy between them. And so that's going to be what needs to be removed, okay, Uranus, or what needs to be ushered in. Like what kind of change. I always do this with Uranus because the tornado. It's kind of like tornado and lightning because it's electricity, but it's also air, the tornado, okay? So what needs to be removed or ushered in order to fulfill this dream that you have, December 20th. What's most beneficial for you? Then the 21st, the day of the solstice, very sweet energy that day. Venus in Scorpio is going to trine, again, they're both in the element of water this time, trine Neptune in Pisces, which is a very sweet, harmonious energy. You know, the vision, the inspiration, unlimited resources, blessings. It can even be secrets coming up again about abuse of power, but it's a good energy, okay? It's a positive energy for this solstice. It's uplifting and inspirational, okay, for this solstice energy. Mercury that very day also will come up to conjunct Jupiter, the luckiest planet that we have out there, bringing focus to the vision or quest that we would like to start now for this part of our journey, okay? And that brings us up to the full moon on the 22nd, which will have its own video. And anyway, I just wanted to say, everybody, how grateful I am that for 2018, Metatron told me before the year started, you're about to go through a challenging period. And he was not kidding. And so it has been challenging. It's been extremely rewarding. The day that I made those videos in the mountains in Colorado, one of the best days of my life. I had Eagle Medicine with me on one of those giant rocks that I couldn't take out the camera at that point. And, you know, all of the Native American elders were all with me. It was so spectacular. And my year has been like that. There's just been so many crests and so many troughs, and it's been great overall. I love my job so much. I thank the Creator every day for what I get to do every day. I want to cry. I love my clients so much. I love connecting with each and every one of you. I'm so privileged and so grateful that you've placed trust in me to help you through these healings and to allow Metatron to speak to you through me. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you that watches my videos, that comments, that sends me emails. I love you all very much. And yeah, so it's been a good year, you guys. Next year, we're looking forward to it, he's saying, with excitement. Okay, and I'm going to make a Chiron meditation video coming up here in the next about a week and a half is what I'm seeing right now. So, but anyway, and the rest of you, I hope that you will join us on the 11th of December at 8 p.m. The information is in the Zoom link in the description box below, and so is the link to my website and my email and Instagram and all of that stuff, my SoundCloud channel and Apple Podcasts. So anyway, everybody, have a great December. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all of it. Oh no, did we already have Hanukkah? I'm not sure. I used to do Hanukkah, and I don't anymore, but I don't remember when the holiday is. But anyway, everybody, whatever you celebrate, I hope it's beautiful for all of you, and I will talk to you again in about a week. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.